Women don't care about money. They don't care about your watch. They don't care about your car. They don't care about the size of your house. And I know that's very counter to what you're being told on the internet these days, because you see a lot of the messaging along the lines of women only caring about a man who's over 6 foot, making minimum 6 figures. And let me tell you something, there's plenty of women in the world for whom that really isn't true. You have consumed too much of the wrong information that's made you not understand how women actually operate. The same woman who will tell somebody that he doesn't have enough money will hook up with a bartender with neck tattoos who has a substance addiction. Why? Well, because that guy is more fun. What women ultimately want, yeah, obviously there's some women who only go for money, total gold diggers, but I would say that actually makes up a smaller part of society. What women actually want is to feel alive. Yes, they want you to be able to provide for a family life, and you don't want to have monetary arguments, for sure. Of course, that's part of it. But what women really want is a guy who can make them feel alive, who can be fun, who can disagree, who can be masculine in his communication. If you really want to be disappointed someday, flex your watch, flex your car, flex whatever you think you can, and the right women, they won't even realize what type of a watch you're wearing. They don't care at all. And it's funny, right? Because I have some clients who have a lot of money, but I mean, my clients on average, they have more money because the coaching program is quite expensive, right? But the ones who have a lot of money, they have sometimes been told that, well, maybe I should just drive to the date with a shitty car, not with a real car that I have, because I don't want her to be aware of the money that I have. And there's a difference between leading with money and trying to hide it. The fact of the matter is, you're never going to be able to turn a gold digger into a non-gold digger. That's not going to happen. If she's a gold digger, you're not going to be able to change her nature. And if she's not a gold digger, just by arriving on the date in your actual car, by making her aware or letting her become aware of what you actually have, that's not going to magically turn her into one either. So if you just do you without trying to brag and just doing you, the problem with that is, I understand that it's simplified and I understand that there is more dynamics to attraction. I'm actually going to make a post on my Instagram today, a carousel post with very specific ways in which you can build attraction. I do understand that. But if you just tell her about your life in an excited way without trying to brag, she'll naturally become aware of the attractive characteristics about you and what you're able to provide. But money really isn't that, because the thing is, if money is the thing that's going to make her like you, guess what? You lose to somebody with more. No matter how much you have, somebody has more. If you're going to play the money game, somebody has more. And whether you're in the US, in London, in Dubai, in Canada, in Australia, wherever you happen to be in the world, in Germany, there's women who have the right values for you and some who don't. I would encourage you to stop listening to the wrong information online, because it makes you very negative towards women as a whole. It can make you extremely negative towards society. It can make you believe the world is about to end when it really isn't. You have to be so careful with what kind of content you consume on the internet. Because if you live in objective reality, and by the way, objective reality will persist longer than your delusions, you'll realize most people are actually good people. Yeah, there are some people with whom you won't get on well, and there's a percentage of society that's evil, a very small percentage, that's true. But most people are good people. The world is a beautiful place. Look at this. David, women this, women that. No, listen. As long as you can provide for a family, you're good. And by the way, if it's 50-50, that's also fine. You don't have to be the sole provider. If you can be the sole provider, amazing. If you're going to do 50-50, that's also equally amazing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with either of those options, because the right women just don't care. When I met Fernanda 6 years ago, I was working for a tech company in Dublin, and I was sharing an apartment with 5 or 6 other people, and we had one bathroom. Let that sink in. We had one bathroom and she didn't care at all. Now, why didn't she care? Because I still had good habits and I was on an upward trajectory. It was clear to her that I was going to progress. But to be honest, even if I hadn't progressed much beyond the point of just being able to provide for a family, a couple of holidays a year, just the normal stuff, she would be happy with that. Why? Because she just really, really likes me. And because I learned to communicate in an effective way. There are beautiful women in the world. And I don't mean on the outside. Yeah, obviously looks matter, physical attractiveness is obviously important. You have to be physically attracted to her. But there's women who just don't care about money at all. And that's good news to you, whether you have money or not. If you don't have money, great. You'll have to develop communication skills in order to be able to attract her. If you have money, great. You'll have to be able to get rid of the blind spots in your communication just as much to be able to create and sustain attraction. What it is the authentic and effective communication of your personality. Being able to tell stories, be playful, be teasy, be observational in your communication, create fun, good energy, have 10 out of 10 level confidence on the date, be non-reactive, pass congruence tests, understand social dynamics. That is what ultimately matters. If you want me to break it down in 3 very simple categories, it's first of all, you need to get more quality dates, because if you don't even have one quality date a week minimum, quality to choose the right woman from, what are we even talking about? Second, you need to learn to communicate effectively. And third, it's social dynamics. That's all it is. And then once you understand that, you realize, whoa, there's amazing women. There's also crazy people, crazy men and crazy women. And the more people you meet, the more you realize, wow, there is a variety of different characters in this world. And most people are good people, but that doesn't mean you need them in your life in an intimate basis or even from a friendship perspective. But that doesn't mean you can't treat them in a nice and courteous fashion. You just want to go along and then have your little interaction points throughout the day, be respectful, be kind with one another, and then move on. But then the people who you want as friends, quality male friends, or the woman that you'll choose as your girlfriend or life partner, you have to have such a high level of compatibility. Tony Robbins also says 95% of relationship success is selection. I use the word compatibility, but it's exactly the same. It is selection, it is compatibility. The single greatest determinant as to whether the relationship will fail or succeed is compatibility. And you cannot create compatibility. You can only discover that. You can only discover whether you're compatible or not. You cannot make compatibility happen. You try to make it work. I was messaging with somebody today and he said, David, I really want your advice on how to convince this girl to give me a second chance. There's no convincing. There's no trying to make it work. Now, if it ever fails with a woman, if a relationship ever ends, if it doesn't go beyond the first, second, or third date, or 6 months, or 6 years into the relationship, there's only ever 1 or 2 reasons. One is a lack of compatibility, and then the other one is blind spots in your communication. That's it. That's really it. It's whether you're compatible or not, or blind spots in your communication. You could add a third category, which is mindset and energy, also extremely important, because there's plenty of men who are doing well in their career or their business who still have beliefs that limit them. They have blind spots, they become emotionally reactive, they start over-investing when they actually really like somebody. They start acting like little kids, like a little excited 13-year-old schoolboy, right? They still have that same pattern. They don't have the right emotional habits around women they really want. But that's in essence all there is. And once you start taking more action, you get into the realm of reality as opposed to just thinking. Most men who say, women just want money, they live on the internet. You don't live in objective reality. If you talk to real people, it depends on where you live, obviously, right? If you're in Miami or Dubai, you'll find a higher proportion of women who are materialistic, of course. But even in Miami, even in Dubai, you can find women who don't care about that. And then guess what? Even if you live in cities like that, you can do non-exclusive long distance and then eventually move somebody to live there with you. Or you can move somewhere else. Depends on where you want to... Oops. There's a boy who was about to jump in the lake and the father rescued him last minute. You can also do non-exclusive long distance, where you basically just fly somebody in. You date several different women at the same time to make an educated choice. This is not about being some player It's just about making an educated choice. If you don't go, guess what she's doing? She's also evaluating her options, and that's exactly what she's supposed to do. What do you want her to do? Do you want her to just jump into a relationship with somebody that she's not compatible with and then just take a gamble on her genetic future, on her legacy, and invest the next 20, 30 years into somebody who's just not worth it, who's going to make her life a living hell? Is that what she's supposed to do? No, you're not supposed to do that either. You're supposed to choose from abundance. She is supposed to choose from abundance, and you're supposed to come together from a high level of compatibility from abundance. Abundance just means you choose from somebody, from a pool of options, so that you pick somebody with whom you're truly physically compatible from an attractive perspective, personality-wise, values-wise, and then intellectually stimulating. But most people who say, women just want money, they're not even approaching. They're not sending messages on Instagram. They're not doing proactive outreach there. They're not using dating apps. They're not taking any action. They're just mentally overthinking all day in their head, and then they have opinions that are based on absolutely nothing. Everybody has an opinion on dating, and I understand that. It's fair. But it's a little bit like this. Let me ask you this. If your knee was broken right now, would you let your friend John perform knee surgery on you? No. Why not? John has 2 knees. Surely he must know a thing or two about knees, no? No, actually, he's not a knee surgeon. Interesting, right? Everybody has opinions on dating and relationships, which is understandable, but it's just their extremely limited, completely lost experience. And it doesn't have to be me, but somebody has to help you with this, because otherwise you will keep repeating the same patterns. You will not choose from abundance. You will end up with a woman who doesn't appreciate you. Listen, if you're a man who's doing well in your career or your business, and you want to find the right woman to share life with, click the link underneath this video and apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take some action, live in reality. Speak soon.